Hello, let's try and do this. This is your midterm for THR 103. This is how to design a nightclub. Um, a specific assignment. You can work together if you want. You don't have to do it if you don't want. Usually I have 5 or 6 students working on this at once. Why am I making you design a nightclub after reading Lear and doing serious Elizabethan drama? First of all, the variables are open. One makes their own stories. As I found out, or I am finding out, about these escape rooms, how in Chinese culture a lot of people enjoy and go to these escape rooms, kind of a spatial situation in which you are given a task or getting out or something like that. I also find after attending Sleep No More, which is in 40 separate rooms of the McKinstry Hotel, loosely kind of a nonverbal piece on Macbeth's Shakespeare's Macbeth. Uh, I wanted to hate it. I actually liked it. I spent about 4 hours inside this space. Um, uh, it was, even though I was wearing a mask and moving through, it was halfway between a drama, a spectacle, safe, dangerous, like a nightclub. You enter into it with expectations from your lonely little life. Those younger students don't realize that you're with this demographic that's about this big. So naturally, you're all similar, sort of similar in narratives. Once you get out into the big world, that's it. You're with demographics this big. People doing all sorts of conscious, unconscious narratives in their lives. Married, unmarried, attached, non attached, children, no children, connected with a family, family living. College is a very special place. In a sense, you could see the university college as a type of escape room. So that's an interesting concept, too. I'm going to roll you through what I am giving you in terms of the given space, a factory space, on the outskirts of town. I helped design some of this in Denver, did a couple of these in Korea. It's fun. It's fun to just open it up to given lifestyles, gay, straight, some of these non-alcoholic clubs for kids. I'm not interested in really the narratives. I am, but I'm more interested in how these strict stories, strict ways people use their narratives, either amplify or decentralize when they enter into a nightclub. Usually, I get the response from my studious Stony Brook students will, oh, I never been to a nightclub. I've never been to these places. I've never been to. You collect, you gather. You're not, I hope, a total recluse behind your Netflix binging, and that you want to go into a public space. It doesn't have to deal with alcohol. It has to deal with the desire to be with people, maybe with a narrative about that big, that you can enter into it. And these are spaces, these are social spaces, these are the lungs of the psychic world opening up. Dialogue, certainly protests are, and we saw with the Black Lives Matter protests after Minneapolis, it opened those civic engagements up 2 years ago. God, it seems like only yesterday. But what goes into the club? You're supposed to write a brief, use SketchUp while you have the 4-week license, and it should involve a club on the edge of the town, kind of flesh out, because you're dictating some of these narratives, flesh out what you're looking for in terms of a demographics. I would like some, I hate to straitjacket, but here goes. Some gay nights, some straight nights, some no definition nights. I want you to revolve around a theme, a trope, a theme going into this, and I want you to have a budget, $100,000. So do not, in your brief, worry about the booze or the bouncers or whatever. You might decide to do a club for 10-year-olds to 18-year-olds. No booze, nothing, whatever. I don't know what are those called? A water park. Um, I spoke with some of my Chinese students, and one guy had been to over 200 escape rooms. Maybe you design it like an escape room. I want these possible narratives to be fluid inside. Obviously, these are spaces where the subconscious can come to a type of fruition, maybe loud, buoyant. They have these at universities where students can mix and have mixers and collect with like-minded people and all that other good stuff. What else about the brief? The brief is edge of town dealing with a factory. Two, you've got a set budget of 100K, but you can deal with the physical things and some sort of manipulation. I'll show you what people have done. Next, you'll give me a budget. You'll give me the research on what inspires you, other clubs, other escape rooms, other sort of weirdnesses out there that you think you want in on your club. You're the master narrator. Like Club 54, there was a great photographic show on it at Brooklyn Museum about a year ago. Is interesting, that whole epoch. Um, you're the impresario. You're the magician. You're the person sort of enhancing people's conscious and subconscious minds. I've been to a bunch of clubs all over the world, and I certainly have my things that inspire me and so forth. But rock and roll, people, music. If you care to get into drink, what kind of refreshments will they have? How will you, like a beehive or flowers to bumblebees, how will you attract the bees? Will it be word of mouth? Uh, there's PhDs written on the social, semiotic, sexual, sociological, psychological aspects of clubs as a space. You don't have Lear anymore. You're focusing in on creating your own narratives. Just as Sleep No More used Macbeth, you might use something else, a roller rink. One club I designed wanted the 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 VR goggles to show different realities. Maybe you want to use augmented reality in this. I want some form of innovation in order to drive the crowd there beyond the innovation of ladies' nights and the typical things for those who've gone off to concerts, spectacles. Within this lecture, I'm also showing things such as Burning Man, Coachella, all these. There's going to be a big famous festival 5-minute walk from me called Sound on Sound, attended by thousands right over here. Um, as a kid who grew up in the woods of Minnesota, I'm endlessly fascinated on how people collect and meet and so forth. So let's go to the factory. Here in SketchUp is the factory. Oh, come on, don't throttle me. I'm providing this. This is one of a previous person's thing. I want you to go shopping at SketchUp Warehouse. I want you to look for the parts you might think. This person chose, let's expand this a little. This person chose the 70s light up dance floor. I do want you to go to Google prices on things, develop a budget chart, and get around to doing the budget. Um, so they even found a couple dancers on the floor, you know, doing whatever the twist. I don't know. So that was their simple view. Let me show you. So we have this SketchUp document prepared. We have this typical warehouse design is going to be um, sent here to you guys. And now let's go to previous aspects. Here's my brief on of how and why and what I want you to find. Here is yay. Here is the aspect of this was a fun coronavirus riskiest activities, and there it is. The thing we really miss is a nightclub. How to and go and be in public and mix up your narratives and be with other human beings, which I like to be, having grown up in the woods of Minnesota. And you see way down there on the other side tennis, the beach, spreading out on the beach, but up here, high risk, way up top. Nightclubs. We love them. We can't get enough of them. You young people one day can be old enough to get into the ones with booze. Alcohol is just an elixir to decrease inhibitions so that shy people can talk to other people. It's a place of attraction too, people looking to solve the alienation of their day and all that other good stuff. So the church, the buffet, the amusement park, here's some other things, amusement park, sports stadium, indoor bar, almost up there with it. But attend a weddings, hug or shake hands, don't. Stop routinely wearing face masks. So these are, I remember, still do, sitting outside at the cafes all for the past 2 years, even in the cold. Playground, cinema, movie, exercise at a gym. These are things that we were missing during COVID, and somehow, somewhere, the club can maintain. Here's a quick SketchUp study I did of let's reduce this file a little bit. Yes, ground plan view. I had a simple idea, simple trope, quickly, of these beanbag chairs placed throughout, kind of inspired by a club I saw in Singapore or would go to, designed some attending things to that, and have these curtains carried around, a thing I saw at the Venice Biennale, where employees, attractive employees, attendants, boys and girls can come through people and divide up rooms. There's a level of transparency in this, and people can create free-form sitting positions, move the beanbag chairs, so we can study more or less the organic sensibility of setting this up. This was inspired by the Hyatt at the Zurich airport, which had a very tall wine dispensary at which these very attractive men and women acrobats would go up on these, almost like rope dancers, go up these things and display their athletic bodies and come down with the wine you requested, which created a sense of spectacle throughout this place. I used that as a spatial idea. This was vertical. I wanted mine to interplay with the horizontal. Fun. This is part of your specs. You will include What inspired you? Show some of your research. No, it's not plagiarism. We're all inspired by what we see out there. You'll go looking for it. Here is she's got a harness on that does the circus things. Men and women, attractive, athletic, going up, doing kind of like vertical dances. It heightened a sense of spectacle at this bar in this atrium area in Zurich. Interesting. Here's another one in black. Here's my version. The beanbag chairs, I did this in SketchUp. Square and circular rooms cordoned off by translucent uh, 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 scrim, theatrical scrim that's tracked and moved through by people who regularly create these little divisions between people, just to keep this organic sense of mixing it up. Part of your PhD on the semiotics of the nightclub is, are they a space of facilitation or are they spaces of frustration? Often the music's too loud. It's the big thumping that called this dub club, thump like the big old heart of your mother in the womb. Are they places where you cannot speak? Are they, because of the loud thumping music, are you inclined to a visual aspect? Does that visual aspect lead to a frustration? You are the designer. You want to pay next week's rent. So you're trying to find the way to attract as many paying customers into your club as you can. You are like uh, a flower. You have all those bumblebees collect that pollen on their legs, the honeybees, and fly around, and you're there to mix it up and to make beautiful things so that they fly over and cross pollinate and do all these wonderful human things that humans do. Okay. So that's a side view. I quickly did this in SketchUp. I even researched some of the costumes from Alexander McQueen again. What's strange, what's interesting, what's um, uh, grotesque even, but beautiful. Beautiful in its grotesquerie. Establishes a curiosity. More of this was the COVID masks were big, but this is idea for the clubbing in the era of COVID, having a mask on your face. Um, Research furniture, idea of interior rooms where people could collect and gather and show their little vaccination cards and enter into these more private, opaque space. So another thing I was playing with is transparency against opacity. Often in my life, in my professional life, I aim at lining up these binaries. So this is the binary between transparency and opacity. Um, I think it's important. This is this telescoping tiny house. I'm big into the tiny house movement. One version, I had some students who put the breakout rooms, the VIP rooms, in the parking lot in limos, and I had these in the parking lot. So you want people to create a word of mouth, especially having a club on the edge of town. It's a so-called destination place. So you want people to go there, to go to their lonely, oppressive jobs on Mondays and say, you have no idea where I was this weekend. We have to get very defined and real about what psychology makes people want to hang out together. How you're going to facilitate that, how you're going to frustrate that through big thumpy music and whatnot. Um, yeah, this is the interior. I see these in the parking lot or in the factory. More of my stuff, more SketchUp, screen captures of my SketchUp things, and you know, dealing with expressive spaces. Maybe there are bands there, maybe there are not. Moody lights, all the things. Maybe you've got a cultural component such as a dance concert, music. And I hear all my SketchUp studies of turnable scrim things. I love scrims, creating a layered attitude through spaces. Um, these are mine. I hustle. This is an idea of people sitting on stairs and yet having these projectable surfaces. I like how people gather on stairs, like on the mat, and like the old post office now turned into the Moynihan train station. Stairs are great place. The Spanish Steps in Rome, great places to collect, and so I extended this. Um, these kind of scrim projectable rooms that can people can go in, and it descends and isolates friends or lovers or family or God knows what, whoever this descends into. People, here's another binary. People like to do and act and exhibit their will and volition, and people like to watch. So they like to hang on stairs, hang upside, look down at dance floors, look at all the attractive people, be overwhelmingly shy so they can't talk to them, or look for occasion where they can talk to them. In straight clubs, there's the interesting thing where all the boys are going around asking women to dance. Just the aspect of social dance and the sociability of dance is amazing. We have these micro gestures, but we also have these macro gestures called dance, which are looking for maybe triggering some of these mirror neurons in each other. It's a pre-verbal, post-verbal, non-verbal sort of visual, oral, motion-based sort of communication. Maybe we have too much language in our regular life, and we like to go to places where we see people dancing. The whole aspect of Instagram is sort of ramped up this notion also. So I designed that. I'm designing more. This was interesting design. Almost got built. These Mies van der Rohe chaise lounges with these, again, with these TV screens moved in between by attractive boys and girls in attendance, separating little groups of people. I was kind of inspired. I lived and worked in Korea, designed a couple clubs there, kind of inspired by the notion of the bang. The bang is a tiny little room that people go deeper into with the people they know. And so, in general, and very generalized in East Asia, where there's um, a kind of formality to introductions, and juxtapose against, again, interest in binaries, juxtapose that with kind of a Western idea of looking for the power corners, so that you're at the corner of a bar and someone attractive passes by, and maybe you can quickly talk to them, get their attention, just stand there looking good yourself. These are dynamic, these are wonderful, these are dangerous, these are real spaces. You can see these in parks. You can see the kind of heartbreaking danger that sometimes these nightclubs create, especially if one gender goes with another looking for how to permeate the shell, the protective shell. It's peacock versus peahen. It's all these wonderful binaries. Even not just on the straight level, but the gay level. There are different semiotics going in, but there are similar sort of operations in the openness of these spaces. This is the design for the chaise lounge space. I like the sort of constructivist look. Here's big widescreen TVs dividing people. I used to take my students to a club called Remote Lounge, and there they would have machines that would have webcam, way back in the 90s, have webcam attuned to other parts of the club. If someone was, you would flip through. Very, very fun, very, very goofy, and very light of heart. You could see someone attractive on a monitor looking in, and you could buy them, send them a drink with these retro buttons. What does that mean anymore, to buy someone a drink? I don't know. It's kind of cheesy 50s thing to do, but it's still done. Um, this is for the lonely hearts. This is a topic of endless conversation. How spaces facilitate our behaviors. In the beginning of this class, you saw Rick and I talking about the behaviors of getting a script derivative of King Lear, responding to as a member of the audience said this. I love the way that King Lear was a scaffolding to this other story of the Eisenhower era white male. And it elicited a conversation. More of my attempts. This was I love cages. I love defined areas, inspired by Japan and Korea. The sense of denotating spaces. This was another using the so-called voyeuristic stairs plus these little movable glass containers on wheels. I often design sets on wheels, formal sets, and just have actors move it around, stagehands, audiences. Ivo van Hove, the Dutch director, did one of the most fantastic productions I've ever seen called the Roman Trilogies, taking Shakespeare's three Roman plays, uh, Coriolanus, Julius Caesar, Antony, and Cleopatra, and basically setting in spaces with sofas. You could quickly run up on stage and just hang out on stage. Every half hour, you could have a sandwich and a beer. Um, uh, he used big widescreen Samsung TVs to broadcast the translation. I used my TVs well before that. What else about this? It was in Dutch, very attractive and compelling cast in this Shakespearean play, but it was one of the most cathartic experiences I had, even on top of a couple sandwiches, a couple beers. We live in an era of these wonderful hybrid narratives breaking down, which is part of why I wanted you guys to think of this as a club. Another one of my sketches, the same old, like Spanish Steps, the voyeurist stage. I love that conceit, with these iPads hanging up above, showing people's Instagram feeds and this, that, and the other, kind of a loungy voyeurist. What are people looking at? People are looking at attractive people, of course. They're looking at people in the light. They're looking at people dancing and moving, this kind of strange animalistic response, watching two or three, four people dancing together to whatever music, square dance, I don't know, rap, God only knows what. People moving during dance, live musicians. Here's an idea with a projected circle, everyone entering into. Always inspired by things I see at the New York Armory, the huge space. I was just in it for the uh, someone's calling up, but I won't answer that. For the wide open space and so forth. Let's keep going. Financial flow space. This was another space on wheels, having a database projected on the space. This is a space I did in Korea. Just techie little TVs hanging from these construction tripods. Space at Stony Brook, more projectable spaces with masks. I love these spandex tubular things to project on. They create an interesting dynamic. Performance in clubs is something I've done before many, 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 many times. And that adds another layer to, hey, don't interrupt my club time, or wow, this is a little added extra. Mark Morris, Mark Morris, Mark Morris. Uh, uh, so I continue to flesh these thingies out in SketchUp. Here's something up in Connecticut, projected environment, projection mapping. Baroque stage, big flashy lights, bright lights, stuff like that. So this is I love the blankness of just opacity, transparency, moving these suckers around and then exposing them. Uh, Dancers within the club, the idea of high art, modern dance, of good atonal concert, avant-garde music in these spaces. It's a cool thing. Um, what else about these? Okay, moving on. Let's quit out of that. Back to our space. So you will get this. Um, oh, I guess I got throttled. You will get this. The image of me is throttled. You will get these spaces, and let me click on to a couple things my students did. Welcome to Exotic Night. Not such a big. Our goal is state your mission statement. Our goal is to make you enjoy yourself. And create an environment welcome to everyone. We want to provide you with the best atmosphere, entertainment. We're bringing you flying entertainers, alcohol that comes to you, and marijuana to click a button. You knock yourself out. It's all legal now. Let us light up your night. And please, gang, of you're trying to pay the rent, so you're not the kind of shy, sheltered life of letting your parents do that is over. We have to be very hard headed and think in this neoliberal economy, neoliberal capitalist economy, what makes people tick. And what makes you tick at paying your rent. So please open up your mission statements. Here they have booze and weed and whatever, but this is just their concept of what they want in their club. They got to obey and pass all the laws. Most of the stuff needs licensing and is legal, but in certain states. But there it is. Audience location. I want this part of your mission statement. So it's opening sentence. What sort of tropes they're using, what sort of gimmicks, let's just call them gimmicks, that you make people come back with, and so forth. As a young audience, we expect to see young adults, 21 to 30. That's pretty narrow bandwidth, but there you go. If you can do it. To me, the only thing that succeeds is success. This is why I love having boots on the ground and really, not staying in your idea. If the idea needs tweaking, tweak it. Apparel, no shorts, flip-flops, sandals, baggy jeans. Mostly importantly, no shoes. Short or pants, then no service. Oh, got it. Okay, no fighting. Good, thank you. Here's a breakdown of demographic. Wednesday, Woo Wednesday with Pop Smoke and other hip hop rap. There you go. Turnt Thursday. Some of these words, I'm so old, I don't know. EDM, electric dance music. Euro EDM is big popular. I've been to some EDM clubs. There's a kind of a trance thing going on there, kind of return to the mother's womb. That's interesting. Friday, Saturday, women are free after 12. There you go. Whatever works, works. Pop, hip hop. I was in a club in Singapore. It was big enough that they had 3 or 4 decades in each room. I was hung out in the 70s room. That was fun. Dancing to Michael Jackson on one of those light up floors. Saturday, dancehall rap. Requests all genres. Here's a budget which you'll provide. I need a budget totaling $100,000. When I've done this, I've gotten anything from 20 to 100,000. The club in Denver, they were giving me a budget, minimal stuff, but as an incentive, I could take a percentage at the door. The door for this club in a factory area on the outskirts of Denver was pulling in anywhere from 20,000 to 50,000 a weekend. So they gave me the weekend door. So the magical alchemy in this neoliberal capitalist economy, anything can happen. You're using your best rational skills, business person skills, but also your artistic skills. They provided adequate research. I love this. Magic City is a nightclub in Atlanta, one of the most famous strip clubs in U.S. I don't know. They added this aspect of strip clubs. It's up to you, gang. Keep it fairly decent, but um, open up the narrative as you wish. It's don't have all these boring old folks tell you, wagging their fingers at you. Whatever you think works works. And here's they did a fairly good job in um, displaying the SketchUp. Again, what does this have to do with high literature, a lit geek like myself? Everything. We make our own narratives. We move, as Goffman said, stories in everyday life. Raoul Vachagem, a lot of great sociologists say we carry portable stories, and these stories march along with things repressive, such as alienating, such as work and turning a buck. Now we're talking about UBI, Universal Basic Income. That movie, 15 Million Merits, showed this. Is this really going to be a dismal Orwellian world of UBI? Republicans have pegged that very, very, very low, 14,000 bucks a year. In a way, we had that during COVID. It added some spin to it. But I want you to think of this nightclub is tip of the iceberg for thinking of society in general. What will go on? What are you designing in terms of group narratives, designing with physical culture, visual culture, sets, glue, woods, nails? Then what are you designing, or what are you facilitating? Much like the bumblebee, flower and bumblebee thing is like, what do you want to pollinate? What do you want to gestate in your community? And don't be ashamed in this neoliberal capitalist economy. You got to turn a buck. It doesn't grow on trees. It's of you've part of education is realizing what are the boots on the ground, who is digging the ditches, and I am personally very turned on when philosophy hits the streets, when it encounters the so-called real, and there's almost nothing more real or even surreal than a nightclub. That is, they have the rope dancers. They have, um, oh God, I forget. Dead Mouse is that? Nope, nope. Dead Mouse doesn't wear that hat. He wears a mouse. So the whole culture of the DJ VJs being the shamanic force behind the big beats is important. 70s lit up dance floors, shots of famous celebs. People are always looking for celebs coming in to do that. We're excited. They gave me a little footnotes, and this was a good, thorough job. Um, in this, just let's do it briefly. I'm giving you this. They took that model, and I got it up here somewhere. We got a conceit going on. You just sit down with a paper and pen, your sketchbook I asked you to get, and you have got to start. So let's look at words that they were going, or look for big general trope. It's like, what place would you enter that would be a tabula rasa enough, a blank slate enough, yet, oh, that might be an interesting keyword, tabula rasa. Let's see what it is. Clean slate. Nothing for products. Let's go to models. Huh. This is interesting, but not a lot. It's got this. I like it. Go get it. I don't know what it is, but I could reconfigure this interestingly. Safety net. I got this vision of the stairs. I called them voyeur stairs, shy people stairs, people watching other people. There's another one at PS1. It used to have the biggest free dance parties in town, like 3,000 people. I love the one at the first Saturdays at Brooklyn Museum. Huge dance floor in the middle of the Brooklyn Museum. Very interesting, fluid, organic dynamics between people. The racial vibe was very cool, very mixed. Um, you feel like there's no place on earth you could have this. Korea, Singapore, Rome, Tokyo, Brazil, Chile. Where else? I've been Thailand, Cambodia. Been to nightclubs in all of these places and more. The attending cultural seminars are interesting. So let's deal with that idea of the voyeur stairs, the place where people are going to look. Type in something stairs, and we got these pedestrian stairs. But ooh, I like this one. Get it? Like it? Get it? And we can move it around. I'm just gonna have a tough time getting it. There's all of these one. I think stairs are. I often deal with stair tropes because they're fun, and they elevate people and make them vertical. Circular stairs are nice. The idea of above, below. The idea of sitting on stairs, watching. Here's a big circular stairs. Let's go get that. And let's go with that one. This whole idea of shy people's place of just watching before they can get up the courage to go and talk to someone cute. Fire escapes, other sorts of things. Let's download some of those. Let's go back to our space. Let's go to import. Come. Nope, documents on set. Let's deal with this notion of circularity. I double clicked on that circular stairs. Come on, baby. Is it goofing with me? No. Oh, here it is. Move it above, over here. Clicked. It imported that stuff. What was actually imported? Yes, 5. Let's bring this down. There it is. Let's make this coming up on. Let's find a little. Oh, there they are. Scalable thingies. The handles. Bring them down. Come on. You can hear my fans go off like B-52s. It's cooling my engine down. I'm going to copy that. And this is a club of stairs where shy people can climb up the stairs and watch the groovy action going on. So here's my stairs. I copy. Let's paste another one here. Copy, paste. So hopefully this lecture tells you about using the warehouse for inspiration. Write these keywords. Come on. There you go. Between these lit up floors, the 70s disco floors. That'd be cool. Like shy people's hangout. And let's put another one over here. I can hear my fans go off. Come on in. Keep saving, gang, because this is intensive. There's another one that might be hung up a little high. Let's see what we got. I did a cross-section tool on this guy. Let's see a view in the door. Here's the view in the door. Perfect. Little circular stairs. Let's click off with our click off tool. Object select, deselect. There it is. Kind of fun. Shift Command 4. Make some choices. Go deeper in to see our dancing people. I can imagine a lot of shy people just looking down on the ground with their gin and tonics, just seeing all the other people have fun and trying to boost their own confidence. Let's click on our section tool and delete that for a moment. Come on, baby. And save that. Up here, we'll go get another section tool. I can't lift it any higher, but believe me, it's right below the footsteps. And let's position this on the side. Come on, baby. There. Press Shift, click, move over. Let's see what we got. A section on the side. Shift, click, move. And it's giving me a section, and let's see with excitement and anticipation what that section is. Move it around. Yay! There's our dance club for shy people. They get to watch the bold people dance on these 70s dance floors, and it's not an uninteresting space. This is going to be more budget than 100,000. As more as you start worrying about boots on the ground and digging ditches, whereas the rest of the world just blah blah blahs. You'll understand what the value of everything is, what you can do, what you can bring in terms of on time, on budget, whatever. I dislike two things about current eras is that because of the internet, everyone talks. Not a lot of people act. Or actions, this strange thing that you do outside of clicking. We're clicking away with our SketchUp. Let's do another screenshot. Let's save it because it's a very crashadelic program. The other thing I don't like is bureaucracy, where you got to fill out forms to do anything. Certainly there are benign aspects to that from the beginning, but there are also sinister aspects, not unrelated to UBI, Universal Basic Income, where bureaucrats are there to stop people from having fun. We've got to be legal. We've got to respond to codes and all of that. But we've got to be boots on the ground dreamers, making this happen. This is a lecture on how to design these clubs. There's our bold people. And this is where, let's grab a bold person and turn it into a shy person. This person here, oops, she's selected, so we go to edit group. Come on, hon. Beach ball of death. Select her. Got her. Copy her. Copy. Use our object select tool to get out of that. Come on. Even on my 16-inch MacBook Pro, we're slowing down, and let's turn her into a shy person looking down right up here. And SketchUp will glue objects to wherever you put your cursor. One of the attractions, also one of the frustrations of the piece. Come on, reappear. That's a shy person. There she is. You are dealing with psychology, you are having fun, you are fantasizing, you are a realist dreamer, you want boots on the ground one day, you want it today, you want your mind to be a vacuum cleaner of the real out there. You're not terrified by anything. You realize we live in interesting times. You're having fun with life. You're creative, productive. You ain't sitting around like a verbose, do-nothing, gaslighting person, nor are you a bureaucrat stopping constructive action from happening. You're fulfilling needs. You're satisfying needs. You're turning a buck. You're making a paycheck. life is full. That's our little demo on the how-to of your nightclub brief, and I'm going to post this sooner than later. Um, uh, Use SketchUp. You only have 4 total weeks to get a facility. Use the warehouse. Go get something that fulfills your trope, and have fun. A lot of you, I've been hearing a lot of responses, are scared of the ambiguity of my class methods and syllabi and whatever. I think that ambiguity is fecund. I think it gives you latitude to exercise your agency. I'm not a professor wanting, Professor Ambush, lording over you, a grade over you, and wanting to see you fail. Hardly. How boring is that? I want you to see you win, 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 and have fun with life before we all die. This is it. This is kind of a club space for bold people, shy people. The vertical against the horizontal. What else about this? Have fun with this. I'm making everyone do it alone. If you find someone on the class that is a friend, or you want to do it together, try it with them. And more importantly, keep the faith and keep going. Talk to you then. Bye bye.